Romney's been very specific. I can tell you in all the interviews I've had with him, what is Obama's second term? You're a Democrat. You're supporting Obama.
Well, honestly, I think the frustration of the American people, clearly, and even Democrats like myself, are a bit angry, and this is why we don't say huge point spreads on either side, with the lack of specifics from both. And you might say specifics are there for Governor Romney, but they don't add up.
What is President Obama's, you sum it up for me. We're 19 days out of the election. Surely you know what his plan is.
Well, the president has been very clear on his plan.
What
I
is
think
it?
Just as clear as Mitt Romney's plan.
What is the president's plan?
The president, different. He wants to work with the middle class, and instead of working with the like we have attempted to with the
that's his plan.
No, he wants to benefit the middle class.
Because I like you, I'm going to pull my foot. And because this is a fun night,
he wants to reward people for insourcing jobs instead of reward people who are shipping more jobs overseas.
There we go. We got the plan. All right. So the bottom line is no plan. Here's what I want to ask you. There's something that happened today, and all of this finger pointing over Benghazi. Now, we've got ads, we've got other polls. I'll show you this up. We don't have time right now. Bill Clinton went out there today. Remember, Hillary said the buck stops with me. I thought that was a shot, basically saying she's in charge. I think there's more behind this. I hear that, in fact, that there are memos that she requested security from Libya. There is a full 50-minute tape of what happened that night in Libya. And the American people, you deserve to see this before the election takes place. Bill Clinton said today, Governor Romney's argument is, we're not fixed, so fire and put me in. It's true. We're not fixed, he said. He said, when President Clinton looked in the eyes of that man who said in the debate, I had so much hope 4 years ago, I don't now, I thought he was going to cry because Obama knows it's not fixed.
Well,
wow.
I'll
show it later.
Nobody feels anybody's pain like President Clinton. I don't think President Obama was about to cry, but if, maybe they know something that I was about to cry.
He was going to cry after the first debate, I think. At the end of the first debate.
Well, look, I think that was deeper. I think if Hillary's saying the buck stops with me, basically I'm president, stealing that from Harry Truman, and he's saying he's about to cry, why do I think the Clintons are angry? And Bill Clinton never got over when they played the race card against them, but they're angry at the president for blaming his wife, just like the intelligence community's mad that they're being blamed.
That may be true, but he also, I mean, he's basically telling what everyone knows to be true. The president cannot run on his record, and this is why he's in such a horrible situation. He can't run on his record, but as Leslie demonstrates, he doesn't really have an agenda either. So what does he have? He can only tear down Mitt Romney. And it worked for about 2 months when he had free running room, negative ads to portray Mitt Romney as a monster. Then what happened? Mitt Romney got up in front of 70 million people, and people saw who he is, and he's a totally capable and responsible guy, and all those ads went away, and Mitt's been rising since.
What Karl Rove said, and I'll get to Dana in a second because we're both good friends with Karl. Karl Rove said, there's never been, at this point in the race, somebody above 50%, this is 2 days in a row, Gallup poll, national poll, and lost an election.
Yeah, but we also have a lot of, I mean, we have a man who's the first biracial African-American who's ever been president. And quite frankly, there's no Republican who's ever become president without winning Ohio. And I don't think Governor Romney's going to get Ohio.
Obama in his career, though.
You know, I don't want to say that with the Clinton thing, you're standing on the grassy knoll, but I did want to address that. When it first came out, and quite frankly, the secretary gets up and says the buck stops with me. I don't think anybody tells Hillary what to do. I'll be very honest.
But don't you think Bill Clinton's mad? I sense,
no.
You know, when Bill Clinton is actually admitting, Governor Romney, fire him, put me in because he hasn't fixed it, and Obama almost cried because he knows he didn't fix it.
The president admits he hasn't fixed it. The president, and that's one of the things he said, and he said that when he first actually got elected, he said this wasn't going to happen overnight or in 4 years.
This was a Clinton.
Mitt Romney can't even, if he comes in January,
that
fix it in 4 years.
they are blaming his wife from Benghazi.
Well, and actually,
I think she accepted
President
responsibility for her position.
She accepted responsibility for one part of it, which is the decision of what security goes where around the world, and I think that's the right thing to do. But they still leave a ton of unanswered questions, including why then did the UN ambassador, Susan Rice, go on 5 Sunday shows and tell the American people something that turns out not to be true?
5 days later.
Who told her to say that? How did they coordinate? I know what prep is like for a Sunday show. Someone specifically said to say that. It turns out not to be true, and it turns out that they knew it wasn't true. Somebody is not talking to one another. If they put all of them in different rooms and interrogated all of them and asked them all the same questions, there would be so many different answers.
And Dana, one thing. It was 5 days with Susan Rice and Jay Carney. It was 9 days with the president, 14 days with the president when he went on The View and was asked a direct question. Yeah. I don't know if it's terror. They knew within 24 hours the State Department was watching this in real time. And apparently, I have very good information tonight, and we will break it here tomorrow night, that they knew they were under attack and help was requested and apparently not given.
Denied.
Yeah, my understanding, it was a rather long-lasting event, the attack. So it stands to reason they would call in for help. And going back to the Susan Rice testimony, another thing that's curious about it, to kind of understate the word, is why would she go out there and say things that apparently the State Department itself didn't believe? We had a State Department official just recently saying, well, it wasn't our conclusion that it was a spontaneous protest that ran out of control. You had a State Department official saying we are monitoring in real time. So how does Susan Rice, part of the State Department, get it into her head to say these other things? And Dana, do you just think if you're a high official in a re-election campaign and something like this happens and someone's going on every single Sunday show, would you not communicate with that person? You know, doesn't it stand to reason a Fluff or an Axelrod would have talked to her beforehand?
Or if you are her, you would say, I don't want to talk to anybody from the campaign. See, one of the big problems is...
By the way, I think I see our boss on the dais there. Roger Ailes is the CEO of the Fox News Channel. I think I see him right there.
Yeah.
He would write some funny lines for this.
He would, but he's in the news business. He can't.
Right. That's right. I do think they have a problem. One of the biggest mistakes that the Obama campaign and the White House made was not drawing a clear, distinct line between in Benghazi attacks to say only government officials should answer questions about this to protect the integrity of it by allowing all of those other